Please welcome Chief Marketing Officer at NetApp, Gabie Boko, VP of North American Sales at Red Hat, Jen Bailin, and co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer at Fullcast, Amy Osmond-Cook.
Well, hi everyone. How are you all doing? I'm so happy. We got the best audience because you stayed to the end to the best segment, right? That's right. That's right. So we're so excited to be here today, and I feel super lucky because two of my friends flew in order to be here for the Silicon Slope Summit. I'm so grateful. Gabie Boko, thank you so much. Jen Bailin, thank you so much. Thank you, I know. Thank you for flying in.
$5 to you later.
I love it. Well, let's start off with a little bit about your background. One of the things that I love about both of you, amazing women, is you have some kind of non-traditional ways for getting into tech. Gabie, should we start with you?
Sure, I'm happy to. I am a failed lawyer, had no interest in anything except the library. Once I decided not to do that, my mother brought me the newspaper, which used to have want ads, that's how old I am, and said, you better figure your life out. So I got a job at a bar, because I think that's what you do when you want to figure your life out.
That's right.
And I met a unique gentleman who was running marketing at a tech firm, and he offered me a job. And it's all uphill from there.
I love it. That's amazing. Didn't you tell me backstage that you had to disassemble a laptop and reassemble a laptop as part of your job?
I did. That is, again, how old I am, or maybe how far technology has come since my career started. He literally took me to the distribution center and said, the only way you're going to figure this out since you're changing careers is to do the work. So he handed me a laptop and a guide and said, break it down, know what the parts are, build it back, go back to the office, write me a thesis.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Well, I have a laptop that's not working backstage.
I can't do it anymore. The screws, they don't work the same way.
That's great. That's an amazing background and such an interesting way to start. Jen, what about you? What's your background?
Well, so first of all, it's so lovely to be here around all of these entrepreneurs and people that have similar minds, the go-getters of the world that are going to innovate. And so I just feel like it's a pleasure to be here around this level of greatness. But I started out my career early on, about 27 years ago, dating myself in high tech at a small company called Microsoft, and have been with other companies over time, and now here I am at Red Hat, which is one of IBM's companies. But something that someone asked me recently is if you were to point out something that you can't see on LinkedIn about your background, what would that be? And there would be two things. One would be that many of the companies that I've been a part of, while they're big companies now, they weren't when I was there. They weren't in the corners of the companies that I led. So those acquisitions, the building, you build or you buy product and you develop those go-to-market strategies over time. And I remember having a moment in time early on in my career where I had a chance to be in financial services specifically, in high tech specifically, to solve some problems. And I had this wonderful woman who walked me around the room, and I didn't know anyone, and said, you need to get to know Jen. She has some opinions, she has a point of view, she has some thoughts in this space, and I believe she'll continue to be here for a while. And I remember thinking, having somebody else have confidence in me like that, I didn't want to let them down. And so that trajected me into this sales arena where I felt like, hey, there's another objective to go conquer. There's another goal we want to go take down together. And I've stayed here, and it's been fun.
I really love that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when I first started working with Ryan Westwood, who is now my co-founder. And I remember him just telling me when I was first starting, don't worry, you got this. I trust you. And it made me want to work so much harder.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I'm like, well, I don't know if you accept this title or not, but you are my business mentor. I'm going to follow your career until you tell me I'm fired.
Yeah.
And so it's been really amazing to have that, just like you said, that when someone's got confidence in you, it makes you
don't
just
want to
want
let
to
them
go
down.
for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I feel so lucky here because I've got, sales and marketing together. Amazing women who have gone the distance in your careers. You know what's up. You know how it works. How does it work together? When do you find that sales and marketing are working together really, really well?
Ooh, salesperson, do you want to start or do you want the marketing person
You
to start?
start.
Oh,
You start.
See, now that's the giving of the salesperson. I think that marketing and sales often get pitted against each other, when in fact they are two halves of the go-to-market coin. I think it all comes down to having a really solid, interesting go-to-market plan.
Yeah.
If you don't have a plan that includes both of you, then you're never both going to achieve it. For anybody out there, you're all small, right? And you're growing and you're thinking about growing big. It all comes down to what's your message, how are you going to generate demand, and then who's going to sell it. And it has to be more than what you do if you're really going to make it happen. And I think that that's every role I've been in, every role that has been successful with a salesperson has been, what are we going to achieve together differently? Otherwise, we're just on two separate islands that are trying to achieve a similar goal.
I love that. What about you, Jen?
I would agree with you. And I think that I've had a lot of learnings along the way because salespeople traditionally run really fast. And we have goals to hit. They're quarterly. And at the end of the quarter, it's what have you done for me lately? And depending upon the size of the company, every company in this room cares about growth. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have this list of 20 things to do, the top one on the list should be growth.
Right.
And so oftentimes we run really fast. But I oftentimes think about it very similarly to putting your seatbelt on. When you get in the car, you put your seatbelt on. And if you don't, you think, okay, I'm playing with risk a bit here. And that's very similar to how I look at the relationship with the CMO. I mean, you should put your seatbelt on. I should pick up the phone and call you and say, what do you think about this idea? I think it's pretty good. And you'd say to me, well, I think here are a few guardrails. We built this foundation of the house together. We framed it together. It sounds like you want to change the paint in this one room and you want to do tile instead of wood. But essentially, I think that's a good strategy for this quarter. So together, we're talking about the adjustments that we want to make, but the foundation stays the same. The framing might stay the same for a 2 to 3 year plan.
Though, I think you said something really interesting, if I may, is that a CMO can't be afraid to risk if it's got a great partner, right? I think especially as you're trying to go for growth, it's about safety of risk, and you do that by having a great partner. You don't allow one to risk without the other.
I really like that because you've got to trust them that seatbelt's going to hold.
Yeah.
And you can drive as fast as you need to drive. I love that. That's a great analogy. I'm going to use that. I love it. What makes a great partner?
Oh, you can take that one first.
I think the honesty in the communication around the goals and the long and short-term vision and the time frames that you both have in mind are important. I think if I look out at this audience of people, there's probably a huge array of size and ARR dreams that you have, or maybe what you've already accomplished and you'd like to acquire into your own business. And I think that oftentimes the CRO and the CMO probably aren't engaged enough early on. I mean, before one or the other comes on, if you were on at the company and I wasn't there, I would want to talk to you. I would want to have that conversation. You would want to interview me because we would need to have an idea around what you said, risk, and what that likelihood is that we'll be able to have a meeting of the minds, or do we agree that it's healthy and, hey, I'm going to be a little bit more risk averse, but you're going to, fly by the seat of your pants on some of these new ideas too. So I think that communication is just really key. Where you don't communicate, that's where you run into problems. And to be really clear, I haven't always agreed with the CMO, but we've found a common place to move forward from always.
That makes
sense. And that's okay too.
That is great. If you can agree on one piece of it, you can build from there.
Yeah.
I love that. What about you? What makes it good?
I think it comes down to the metrics. I think if your marketing has a tendency to measure the tactic. This was great, so successful. We got 80,000 impressions. She doesn't care about impressions. So I stopped going into meetings with salespeople and saying, I'm green. Everything I'm doing is amazing. You're the one who sucks. You have to have the same metrics, right?
Yeah.
So now I start from, I'm yellow. Or if you're not green, then I'm not green. And I think it's really important to agree on what those metrics of success are.
Right.
Marketing can save all those lovely, 80,000 impression conversations for ourselves, which, makes us equally excited. But when pipeline is on the table, then we got to be all in for pipe. So I think it's that commonality. I'm green when she's green.
I love that. I think that's one of the reasons that we, at our company, we use pipeline as kind of our main metric for marketing, because it is partially marketing and it's partially sales validating, and it's something we all agree on, and it makes a big difference. I love that. You've talked a little bit about partnerships. We've talked a little bit about what it means to go through your career. Now we're at a state where AI is changing so much, right? We heard earlier today what Governor Cox was saying about AI. You two, of anyone, have your pulse on AI. So how do you think that AI is changing the marketplace, and how is it changing your jobs?
You see that poignant pause there, that pregnant pause, poignant pause?
I'm about to jump out of my chair. Can I answer?
Go for it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm super excited. So data is the center of everything, and I know you would agree with this.
Yep.
Oftentimes in the role that I'm in, leading go-to-market, leading sales for any size of organization, I'm always looking for where there's opportunity. Show me opportunity, show me opportunity. I'm going to go find opportunity. I'm looking under rocks for opportunity. The world is changing right now so quickly, where next logical purchase, propensity to buy information can be served up so quickly, so that people like me can focus my time and energy on making the people that are trying to be customer facing more powerful and impactful when they're in front of customers. And then taking that information that we're getting about how our message is resonating and going back to a partner on the CMO side to say, here's how I think we need to tweak the messaging. Here's how we need to paint this bathroom differently than we thought. Here's how we need to change the tile in this room. Just adjusting the house that we're building together. And I think the company that you've recently co-founded, Amy, is going to be very instrumental in the future. I really do. I mean, it takes the things that have taken me nearly 30 years to curate around my definition of what will be success and what will drive success for companies in the go-to-market side, and make that, I don't want to say painless, because there will still be a little bit of growing pains there, but make it more consumable and readily available for the typical company.
Thank you for saying that. One of the things that it appears everyone in the universe, and certainly all of our customers, want to know is, what does good look like for this stage of the company, for this industry, for this segment? And so AI can help us with that. And just like you said, it allows us to do rapid iterations of so much, be able to put different paint on the colors of the house. What about you?
I think it's twofold for me, not just in the space I'm in, but also for my job. I think marketing has always been at the forefront of how to use, let's call it, digital transformation. A decade ago, we were talking about nurture and the speed of the web, and how we personalize and do ABM. AI makes that promise come true that digital was never really going to help us get to. Helps us to optimize the content, to nurture, to have a digital engine that's actually built for demand. So I think that AI is a fantastic tool for optimization of current processes, for jobs that might be more manual, for getting more scale. That's a given. I think, like you said, it eats data. AI eats data, right? That is what it is there to do. I think what you have to protect against for your job is how to make AI strategic.
Yes.
Making AI functional and optimization is a no-brainer. I mean, if I could see the audience, I would hope that you're using ChatGPT, you're using it in like Jasper, all of these. There's so many tools out there. Please go experiment with them. They're great. Go do it. As you're thinking about that, though, it starts to open up the doors to what you want your strategy to be. And I think that that's where marketing in general is starting to lean to say, what data am I collecting off of this rigor and optimization that I'm getting that can inform how to build markets? Not just do the work, but how can it inform what markets I do need to go into? How can it start to influence the strategy that I'm going down? Not replace the people who are doing it, but influence. And I think that's the harder rub, where people are maybe a little bit more afraid of it, or maybe don't know quite how to use it yet, and that will be the future. But like I said, I think even at my company, what we're saying is it's important to bring AI to your data, not just your data to AI, right? You want to embed it. You want to build on it and make it a strategic part. So for marketing, I think you're going to see it change dramatically, optimize and save money and get to scale, but also really start to influence how we build markets, not just do the marketing.
Okay, this is something so interesting and transformational from one CMO to another. I notice you use the word market versus marketing. Can you explain the difference?
I can. In my experience, my long esteemed experience, but in my experience, marketing is the doing. The ing is the doing of my job. The goal of marketing is to build a market. So technically, I'm the chief market officer. My job is to build markets for my company and to manage a team of marketing to go facilitate that.
I think you've started something. I
think
that.
You have. I am on that bandwagon, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm happy to share.
I think that is so foundational. For anyone listening, Gabie wrote an incredible article about the chief market officer. So for anyone who's in marketing, you've got to read that seminal article, because it completely changes the way that you look at marketing, and it gives us a more holistic picture of how marketing should work across the customer journey throughout. So I really love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me ask you a little bit, something really very basic. Do you think an AI SDR, Jen, is going to work?
An AI what?
An AI inside salesperson without any human touch. Do you think it's going to work?
Not right now. Not at all.
Oh, really?
No.
See, I do.
Not right now. Well, and here, let me caveat this a bit. So I think that companies right now are not set up with their infrastructure and their data in order to have that be prevalent soon in the marketplace. When they do, then yes, that could happen. But right now, most companies have silos of information. Their infrastructure isn't set up for the future. The efficiencies just aren't mindful right now of that specifically as a business use case.
I'll go with that.
Okay.
You know what I do think it does is I think it shortens the lead time.
Yes.
So getting to people who say, I want to buy your product, that is, I think AI is going to help us condense that so it shortens the distance between an opportunity and a sale.
You're going to speed up conversion rates.
Agreed.
Yes.
That makes sense to me. I love my fully automated AI AAA person, that virtual assistant that gets me AAA there. I have been hit with so many totally AI-driven cadences on LinkedIn. I don't even pay attention to anything anymore. So there's got to be some kind of
something in the middle.
Something in the middle, I think. I think you're right. Gabie, do you think that AI will replace marketers?
I mean, if you listen to the world, it's going to replace all of us. So listen, I think that there's original human thought, and that's not going to go away.
Yes.
And if we can think about the original, the creative, the authentic us, then that's not going to get taken away. It will make the AI engines better, but I'm guaranteed that marketing isn't going away, because I know what we can bring to this, and I know that we can continue to be the glue. But that means we have to be a first mover, and that means we have to adopt it so we're understanding it. Instead of worrying about getting replaced, I want to be an adopter.
I love that. So we use it to our own devices, but we're still in control, and we still harness our own creativity.
For the time being, until Terminator comes to pass, yes.
I love it. Well, we are out of time, but My last question is, what advice do you have for some of the younger people in this audience who would love to be where you're at?
I would focus on a couple things. So network, network, network. I think you would agree that we just keep running into people that we've known for years, and someone knows someone knows someone. And network, network, network. Always look forward to how you can help someone else. I'm always trying to pay it forward constantly. I'm trying to lift up 2 people a day. I work really hard at that.
I love that.
The other thing I would say is growth. Focus on growth. There's so many things that you will have on your list of things to do every single day. Most of them are not important. Most of them really are not important. But if you write down growth on a sticky note and put it right in front of you, and you just ask yourself this question, is talking to this person for an hour today going to drive growth? Then do it. If not, there's no unspoken rule that every meeting has to be 30 to 60 minutes. It could be 3 minutes. And I'll say the best people I have in my network, I can pick up the phone and say, hey, I only have 2 minutes. Can I bother you? Yes, sure, fire away. And there's no miscommunication around my shortness. It's just that I have 2 minutes, and I really need their opinion. So, and that's why you need the network in order to move very, very quickly.
Yeah, plus one. Know why you're taking a job, right? Don't just take the job for the dreams, the stock, the growth, the rosy picture. You got to know why you're taking a job, and that means you need to know what you want to do. And you got to really understand the technology. I'm in tech, and I've made some seriously miscalculated decisions in my career, but I've also made some really good decisions. So be ready for the ups, be ready for the downs, but know why you're taking the job. And ultimately, that comes down to accepting risk. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but go big. Especially if you're a female in this room, just jump in. It's never going to hurt to ask for more. It's never going to hurt to volunteer, to raise your hand. Risk is your game. This is a big room, and I know that you guys are the future of my industry. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in it.
That is so well said. We'll end right there. Thank you so much for coming today, and thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for having us.